So RuneScape 3 is a pretty old game, so every now and again there's some stuff in game that is kind of frustrating and annoying and things that could probably be done better. That being said, this video is going to help out with a few of those things probably. What we're going to do is go over a few things that you can do now and today in game to improve your quality of life while you're playing RuneScape 3. Hopefully this video helps you out and makes your quality of life a little bit better while playing. And if it does, then do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Also, if you're not new around here, just double check that you are subbed, because a lot of you guys watch every video but haven't clicked the sub button yet. And since this intro is short, I will extend it a little bit by just saying if you enjoy the music in this video, there is all music that I have had made for my channel and is available for other people to either just listen to if you enjoy it, or you can use it in your videos if you are a creator or a streamer. You can use it on stream too, and it's absolutely free to use, and you will have no risk of having a DMCA strike or anything like that if you do use them. So there's a link in the description if you want to go check it out. Anyway, let's get started. So as always, these are in no specific order, but we're going to start off with one that I think is incredibly useful, and that is going into settings and going to controls, and then we scroll all the way down through action bar to the bottom of the action bar one, past all the additional stuff, down to these options here. So right at the bottom, just before it goes to Windows navigation, you have the options to keybind certain things like your special attack or your quick prayer, your auto retaliate, all this sort of good stuff. Now, this is really useful because you can do your area loot as well, target cycling, familiar action, so your familiar spec, which is good for like Kagari Demon. But the reason this is so good is because you don't have to put your things like your weapon spec on your action bar here. You can put it off of there. It's all just here. So you can save yourself some slots, and you don't have to drag this onto here, or you don't have to get the weapon spec from in here, I believe. Otherwise you would have to do it here and keybind it, but you run out of spaces in your action bar pretty quick. So yeah, if you head into settings, you can keybind that stuff along with other stuff as well, like your target cycling and your area loot and all the sort of stuff that you may be thinking, oh, I wish I could keybind this, but I can't. It's there. It's just there in the settings. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I only really use these because I don't use quick prayer. I should, but there you go. You have a pretty decent computer, but when you teleport places, you keep getting this stupid thing, like, one second, this here, the loading map thing, but you're thinking, like, does that, everybody else doesn't have that? Well, if you come into settings, this is actually a really good one as well. Down to loading screens, this will be on by default because it's meant to save you some resources on your computer. So if you have a fairly, okay computer, take this off. And then when you teleport to other places, for example, if we go back to wars now rather than to the Grand Exchange, you will notice that we no longer get the loading map thing, and you can move straight away. So you don't get the loading map, it lets you get into the area straight away, and it's nice and smooth, and it just feels a lot better than if you did it the other way. So we'll go back to the Grand Exchange so you can see that it's not just the area of the teleport you go to, and it loads it all in nice and easy for you like that, and it just makes for a much smoother gameplay experience than if you had the stupid loading screens on. So once again, that's settings, and then go to graphics, and then scroll down, and make sure loading screens is unticked. Don't have it ticked, unticked. Next up is something that will save you a lot of time and effort when you're PVMing and you are switching between combat styles. You don't have to come on here and change your action bar to whatever it is when you change to melee. You can have this do it automatically. So if I equip a Drago weapon now, which is a melee weapon, my action bar, which is on my magic one, will instantly change to a melee one, and I will have the abilities available straight away. I don't have to change any keybinds myself. When I change back to the wand, it will go back to my magic one, and it's nice and easy to do that. Now you can also take advantage of this in a different way as well before I show you how to do it, and that is by, for example, let me grab out a ranged weapon. If I put on a ranged weapon right now, you'll notice that down here, this here will change as well as this one. So I can set up this down the bottom to change too, and you'll see that happening now. And that is because I can set that up to have all my range switches on this one, and then all of my magic switches on this one. So that's number 7 on magic, and it is number 8 on range. So you can take advantage of that, meaning that you've got more action bars available when you switch combat styles, so you don't have to cram it all into one action bar. Like, you'd have to have all your switches on one action bar. You can do this by going into settings, going down to gameplay, and then going to action bar binding, which is under the combat and action bar settings. Now in here you'll have action bar binding set up 1, 2, 3, 4. These aren't important. The numbers, like the setup 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 don't match your actual action bars. You may think so because there's 15, right? But you have 15 things, but they don't. So if you have action bar, let's have a look. If I have action bar 3 set up here, I could change. You have to actually set what action bar you want it to change, right? So You set the weapon style to any magic style, which is what I've got, and then you set it as your main action bar, and then you, which this will be action bar 1, 2, 3, 4, the extras that you can have on screen, and then you set which action bar you want to change it to. So it doesn't have to be the same, like action bar 3 isn't always going to be the third action bar, you'll have to set that yourself. So I could have that changed to whatever I wanted to, and then you just have to tell it which action bar to change it to. So this is the main one, then you've got additional 1, additional 2, additional 3, additional 4, and then which number you want to actually go to it. Haven't messed around with this. It is a little bit confusing at first. Once you get it set up, it makes your life so much easier, because if I want to use SGB, I use that and then it gives me all the other stuff back as well. Or if I just want to use range, it gives me all my different switches, my different shields and stuff. Go back to magic and it's instantly there down the bottom as well. And of course the stuff at the top changes as well. Now also, if I'm using melee or anything like that, it instantly changes. It just becomes way easier. I would recommend setting this one up 100% for anyone, even if you don't really do PVM, but you do like a little bit of Slayer here and there. It's still convenient, you might as well do it. I actually mentioned this one kind of recently-ish in a different video, but it's kind of worth mentioning again because of how many people were like shocked by this option. So I'm going to mention it one more time, and that is if you have a familiar following you, like a yak, for example. I've got a pack yak at the moment, as you can see. It's just overridden by something else. If you're PVMing and you're running, say, from a Raxor where he does the leg swipe and you're clicking away, sometimes you'll click on your yak and this will happen. That's not convenient because you get swiped, you're dead. Or if you're running around like this and you're running and you got to click somewhere and you're stood in the wrong thing and you're trying to walk and it can just get in the way, right? So what you can actually do is go into settings, come to the gameplay tab, then combat and action bar, come down to choose option menu, and then here where it says hide familiar options, make sure that's ticked. This makes it so much easier. So now you can see I can click through my little familiar. There's nothing for me to do with them. I can't even do anything except for examine them, and that's pretty much it. It's nice and easy. You can't get in your way anymore. And if you want to access that thing, you've got a window here which you can get on screen, or you can click on this thing here and you right click it and you can do whatever you need to do. You can interact with it like this, and that will give you the thing of chat or store, or you can do anything else in here as well, like open the pet interface window and all that sort of stuff. So all the other stuff's there. You don't need to be able to interact with the actual familiar. This should be a default, I think, to be fair, but maybe for skilling and stuff it's convenient, but this is just so much more convenient to do this. So if you are PVMing and you don't have this enabled, make sure you do. Go to settings and just make sure that hide familiar options thing is ticked. It's just such a good one. Anyway, let's go to the next one. This next tip is going to be one that is really useful for you skillers or for you people who are leveling up your account, working towards like, I don't know, getting max or stuff like that, and you want to do your dailies or your distractions and diversions and your, what's the other thing, the mini games as well. They're really useful. So like warbands, all that sort of good stuff. You can go into settings and you can go to the gameplay and the interfaces option. Yeah, and then come down to game clock, and in game clock you can actually set it so it notifies you when your favorite things are going to be going. So you can set favorites on your mini games and your other stuff, like your distractions and stuff, and you can have it so that it notifies you 5 minutes before. So if you have here receive notifications when your favorite distraction and diversions are about to start. Also, toggle favorite clock alarm, play a sound when your favorite minigames are about to start, and you can also head into the actual things here on adventures, and then come to your minigames here, and you can filter it down to whatever you want to do, and you can go through, and if you want to pick something, for example, the Rune Goldberg machine, you could then favorite this, and it will tell you when it's available, which would be reset, I assume, and then you could go to places like warbands. I think if I go to my favorites in here, you can see that I've got wilderness warbands, which was really, really good when I was trying to level up. So having this one and make sure it's favorited, whenever this is ready, that you will get a little jingle noise if you have the sound effects on, but also it will notify you. So that's a really useful thing to know about, and I would recommend if you are someone leveling up and you do seem to forget about things like your caches or your warbands and stuff like that, then this is definitely a good thing to enable. It'll give you a little jingle and you go, oh crap, it's time for this, and off you go. The next one is while you are in the wilderness, you can actually save yourself from being like skull tricked and stuff like that by making sure you have a setting enabled which stops letting you left click attack players. It is incredibly useful, and it is something that has saved me in a recent video when I was doing something in the Chaos Elemental or something. I nearly got skull tripped by someone who had shade robes and they were running in front of me trying to make me click on them. So what you can do here is go into your settings and then go down back to the combat and action bar and targeting, or choose option menu even. Choose option menu, and then so where it says player attack option, make sure you have this set to right click or even hidden. Anything else will let you left click them, and you don't want to be able to do that. So right now I have mine on right click, and you'll see that I have to right click and press attack to attack people. I can't do anything here. But if I go back to settings and leave it on the default, which I believe is left click, then you can actually left click and skull on them. So make sure you have that set to right click or hidden, and that way you can't actually ever accidentally run around and click on anybody and actually get skull tricked, because it just wouldn't be a good thing that you want to do. Because if you're doing anything and you only take one item, two items, letting them have that chance, it's just something you don't want to do, because you can always right click and press attack. That's the safest way to do it. The last thing I'm going to mention in this one, which we can definitely do another one if you guys enjoyed this and want to see more, is that you should make yourself a banking preset when you use your bank. Now you can see here that one just loaded. It kind of is missing a few things. If I think I filter this, yeah, you see quite a few things that are missing, but that's okay. So what you can do is add in things like the things that you use a lot when you either PVM or you're doing skilling. You can do this for your dailies as well to make your life easier that way. So when you log in, you load a preset and you can do all of your dailies, like your Viswax, all that sort of good stuff, your shop runs and whatnot. But this is really useful for PVM, especially because you can have all of your incense sticks or your weapon poisons that I have here, 1 dose, and your anti-poisons, and then you can have all the pages for your books that you charge regularly. I don't have any grim pages at the moment because I'm absolutely broke with my 11 mil. I have runes, which I'm also running out of as well, which normally I would just click on the runes and put them in the rune pouches. And then of course you can do things like summoning a specific familiar, adding the scrolls to it, and having all that sort of stuff there as well. I also have potions in here because if I'm doing something like Telos, then I won't use overloads in my inventory. I will use them each time I bank. I will load the preset, use the overload and the renewal, and then load the preset for Telos, and then run to Telos, and that way I've got 2 more inventory spaces as well. So this can be incredibly useful in time saving as well, rather than going into the bank, especially if you have a bank like mine, where it's kind of messy. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not, like, you scroll down a little bit, it's pretty disgusting, and you have to like go in and find all your stuff. So you just load the preset and summon the familiar that you need, all that sort of good stuff. And this has saved a lot of time for me. And like I say, you can set this up for your dailies as well, whatever distractions and stuff that you do normally. And it's definitely something that I would recommend people do. It's only 1 bank preset, and you get quite a lot these days. We have 15 presets, so is that 15 presets. So definitely worth having one of these if you have a spare space for them. And yeah, that's gonna be our last one. So hopefully you found something in this video that did help you out. And there we have it. That is 7 tips or tricks or whatever things you can do in game to help improve your quality of life while playing RuneScape. Hopefully those things help some of you guys out. I'm sure some of you will know some of them, some of you won't know all of them, and that's just the whole point of this. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. I will make another one, a part 2. I could probably do like a part 2, a part 3, or whatever of this. So if you're interested, do just let me know in the comments and I will do so. Leave any quality of life stuff down there as well, and I will use them in the video next time if there is any useful ones down there, and I will use your comment to show that you submitted it as well. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Channel members, I very much appreciate the extra support you guys provide. If anyone else is interested in joining the channel members, click the join button by the sub button, and you can see what perks you do get while doing that. But otherwise, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all too, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.